So with that, before I go in and start talking about my name, I just want to say the name of the system we are using, which is Animon Story, which you can pick up on, I think it's on Itch. It's probably somewhere else. I probably should have written this down beforehand. I can't remember the author's name. It's Zach something. But if you search Animon Story, you'll find it. Fantastic system. It's loads of fun. It's cutesy. It's designed for like children and monster style stuff. And yeah, so go check out the system. And with that, hi, hello, and welcome everybody to Bear Ridge Beat. I am your GM, Bardic. You can find me on the internet, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, all as the Bardic Knock. I kind of do bits and pieces. I stream a little bit here. If it's stuff I'm particularly happy with, I'll edit it, upload it to YouTube. I keep telling myself I have projects I want to do, and then I start them and then forget about them or get depressed and just don't work on them for 7 months. But it's fine. It'll be fine. So yeah, that's me. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about myself currently. I'm just going to go down a little L shape on the stream overlay here. So right underneath me, we have JT. Do you want to introduce yourself and plug anything?
Hi. Oh, okay. Sorry. Hi. I'm JT. I use he, him. I go by @BrownestNerd on Twitter, working on being Epic Impulse in other social medias. If I remember to boot up Mastodon and Hive and when Hive loads. Let's see. I'm not working on anything in particular. So but I will be playing Kunal Singh, our resident delinquent, and that's all I'm going to say until it's time to go further into the game. I don't have the stream overlay, so I don't know who's next.
Next is Jamie. Jamie, would you like to say words, please?
Sure, I can say some words. We got Rutabaga and Kumquat. My name is Jamie. I am he, him. I go by @jkelsey6892 on Twitter. Hive when I can open that thing. And Instagram, I guess. And I play Greg Prince, who is just a lovable guy.
All right.
I have no projects.
Who needs projects?
Oh.
All right, thank you for that. Next up, we have Sahoni. Sahoni, do you have words?
Hi. I do have many words actually, because I have projects, unfortunately. Hi, I'm Sahoni. I go by he, him. You might know me on Twitter from Sahoni Stuff. That's SAHONI_stuff, where I do not only radio and stuff through Barking Points Memo and other podcasts, but I also do game design through Bramble Wolf Games. You can find my shop at bramblewolfgames.itch.io. It's exactly what it says on the tin. I would be glad to plug specific games later, but for right now, all you need to know is that I play Thomas Reed in this game.
Okay, wonderful, lovely. I was mildly distracted because I was looking at audio bars and like, oh, I think I forgot to set some filters on my mic. It's fine. It's mildly irritating. I will look at it and sort it out later, because if I try and fiddle with it now, I'll mess around with too many things. But saying it out loud, so I at least am aware of it. Finally, we have Nada. Nada, would you also like to say words?
Feels like a little bit of pressure since I'm the last person. It would be weird to not say words. I only have not very many things going on. That's not. Hey, I'm Neda or Nada. I go by they them. I'm mostly just on Twitter because I don't really know how all the other social medias are doing right now. So can find me at trans_father. I'm not an actual father. I just own a dog, so I'm that kind of dog owner. And I mostly just do like game design in TTRPG actual plays, but I'm not published yet, so you're gonna have to just believe me on that one. And I'll be playing Sable Anasi, little horse girl. That's my introduction to her. So yeah, I think that's it from me.
All right, wonderful, thank you. And I believe you. I wholeheartedly believe you. It needs to be published. It's optional, right? It's fine. That wasn't meant to sound sarcastic.
No. I picked up what you put down, and then yeah, I'm gonna be published eventually. That's my goal.
Good goals. I hope you get it. Okay, so before I go into my opening monologue, all my thoughts just disappeared there for a second. Good start, great start, Bardic. I was just gonna say, hey, we here. We are doing all of this. We've got safety tools. We've got all of that in place. So if one comes up, we'll take care of it. And obviously, we're intersectional. We're doing all of these good things. We do not tolerate bigotry and all these other horrible things that are going on in the world. Like, no, it's just zzz. So we're throwing that out there. And that's just the vibe, that's the space, that's what we're doing. All of the things. I'm sure there's better words, but my brain is trying to process how to finish words, and also I'm monologue. I've got it. I've written it down. It's going to be good. Ugh. So, with that, allow me to introduce you to the world. This is based off of the Shaman King manga. And yet again, I'm terrible. I did not write down the author's name. So, Honey, you normally know the names.
Right. I was about to tell you that. It is
Yeah.
Zach Burrow.
Oh, that's Anamon. Zach Burrow. That's the Anamon story author. That's wonderful. So, Honey, who's the author of Shaman King?
Oh, Hiroyuki Takai.
Thank you. Because I skip out important things in my brain and just go, it'll be fine. So we're using that universe, and we're gonna steal things. We're gonna twist things. We're gonna break things. It's not perfectly canonical because I am not Takai. I'm just taking his word and going, what if I did it? And what if these lovely people here assisted in creating this wonderful story? So, with that, monologue time. Serious. Enter performance mode. In this world, there are spirits. Spirits of the dead yet to pass on. Spirits of nature. Spirits of faith and folklore. Spirits exist and are palpable through the energy of Furioku, an energy that exists in all living things. Among humans exist those who can feel this energy, those who can use this energy, and those who wield it as either a weapon or a tool. We call these people shamans. Shamans have existed in all cultures, usually under different names, but have for the longest part of recorded human history been important and revered members of communities for their skills. In recent history, their position in greater human societies have been diminished, allowing for shamans and shaman families to form their own communities and cultures hidden within the greater human societies. Sometimes these are in plain sight, with a shaman acting as a religious leader or a faith practitioner, or even a folk healer, such as a medicine man or a cunning folk. Some of these are more hidden, and they just live as normal people, working in coffee shops, or in office workers, or as office workers, that's how you say a sentence, or wherever their life has led them to lead it. Shamans tend to find themselves drawn to settle in or around powerful areas with spiritual resonance or significance. The city of Bear Ridge is one such place, originally settled by shamans being drawn to its powerful natural spiritual energy. Bear Ridge continues to draw shamans to it to this very day. The International Shaman Collective has set down roots in Bear Ridge, using it as a hub for meetings regarding worldwide shaman events, such as the Shaman Fight Tournament that takes place every 500 years. Bear Ridge quickly developed due to its bountiful natural resources in the mountains, rivers, and forests that surround it, also creating a picturesque location that in more modern times has drawn in large swathes of tourists to create a steady-ish economy. Of course, there is a variance in those who have more and those who have less, but on the whole, a lot of people in Bear Ridge fall into the have enough to survive and do okay-ish for themselves camp. Recently, though, somewhat of a resurgence is occurring in the economy after multi-billionaire and all-round douchebag Elmer Husk has started buying up land around the town, setting up warehouses for something. This in tow with houses being bought up for rental vacation homes and an influx of influencer culture raining down on the town, has started to create friction between the locals and their elected mayor, Dirk Bjerkeson. That's a name I came up with. And it's fun to say, Dirk Bjerkeson, who has been reveling in the attention his town and wallet have been receiving. Our story will be exploring 4 young shamans in Bear Ridge as they explore themselves, their heritage, and find a way to navigate through an ever-changing world. Look at that. Monologues.
Look at it.
I mean, you can't look at it. But look at me. I did things.
Yes.
Alright. So with that, hopefully that has been a good enough explanation and all of the words so we get a vague feeling of where we are and what's going on. Although it has just dawned on me, because I typed it in what I think in my first draft. I might have skipped it or just not read it. Bear Ridge is meant to be in Colorado. I wrote that down. I must have skipped past it, or maybe I said it and didn't realize it. So Colorado mountain town city. That's the location. If I goofed on that one. Alrighty. So people who everyone will get used to me saying alrighty and so a lot. They're my transition phrases. So what I would like to do to begin is similar to the introductions. I'm going to one by one kind of point at you and say, hey, introduce us to your character and give a not totally brief, but not, you don't need to give me a super in detail itemized list of how your daily routine has gone on this day. It's, let's say it's a Tuesday, it's a weekday, it's a school day, and how your day has gone in character. So we will start with Kanal. JT, can you introduce us to Kanal and how they have spent their Tuesday from when they wake up to round about the last period of school?
I should probably also give a description of Kunal a bit for our audience, but I have to find where I put it. So, Kunal is a tall, lanky. I'm trying to remember the age again. We said 13?
Yeah, I think our age gap is from 9 to 16 is somewhere in this age bracket.
Tall, lanky, and instead of being in his class, he is on the roof, as a good delinquent does. What's it? Because I imagine maybe the school actually not even the roof. He's on he's rappelling from the roof and spray painting the school while having a selfie stick held by a classroom window pointed at him. It's very intricate and impressive, but also what the hell?
Sorry, I think I didn't do a great job of explaining. I want to have your whole day up to this point. So from waking up to here, if you don't mind.
Okay, so I think Kunal would wake up, probably have breakfast, but largely just get like basic small talk from his parents while they fawn over his older brother, who is this, who, if there was a camera in his household, it would be like, oh, look at this artificial, like, look at how badass this person looks. Either this person's going to be important or something horrible happens to this person within seconds. So he kind of just quickly breezes through his breakfast, puts on his hoodie, which is like a nice dark purple with like lavender lining, has a red face scarf on his neck, and goes out, goes to school, probably goes to enough periods to check into homeroom before skipping class to start graffitiing.
Okay. I mean, obviously, this is entirely optional, not to you. Are there any challenges or tests that you would like to like do a roll for as you go throughout the day? Just to like go, hey, we know how a game works. We know mechanics. Entirely optional. If you don't want to, it's absolutely fine.
I think setting up his TikTok setup of selfie stick held by a window that he gets a classmate to open.
Okay. So what kind of test do you think that would fall under?
I feel like this is... Let me see what the stats do again, because I totally haven't figured that. Well, I'll eventually remember this. Where is the explanation of the stats? We'll get good at this, so we promise.
This is why I'm doing it. Okay, the more we do them, the more we're like, yes, got it.
Okay. I'm gonna say this is logic, aka my worst stat. But let's do it. So I have to roll what? 2 logic, 2 dice.
You roll a pool of dice equal to your stat. So I mean, if there's a talent you have that adds to this, you can add another dice. But
could I argue that artistry adds to this?
I would 100% accept that. So make that 3. Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna roll 3d6.
Let's do it.
Oh no!
And that is 3 failures.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I'm just going to quickly double check what, because obviously when you fail, it's not you fail. Something still happens. It's not that just it doesn't happen. So let's have a little think about this. So, can you explain exactly what you're trying to get set up?
Probably I think the perfect spot to fail this is that probably when he rappels from the roof to his spot, he'll knock on classroom window while the teacher's lecturing. He's trying to be like discreet, but it's entirely possible that he's just like bang, bang, bang. And of course the teacher's now gonna have to see a kid hanging from like the school window.
Yeah, you know what? I feel that's good. So you've rappelled down almost immediately. If we were going full anime, a part of me would be like, I think it'd be funny if you rappelled and accidentally swung into your class you're meant to be in. Like open window, just swung in.
We could do that. That's entirely better. It just has that tumbled dust cloud.
And so no one even notices you're skipping class. You just tumble in and like, oh, damn it.
I mean, it probably become then you know what? Add insult to injury, like the selfie stick and the phone with TikTok on fall right out. So now it's like no phones in school. Wait,
yeah,
can they still do that?
I have no idea. I've not been in a classroom for over a decade, so. Do they still take phones off of you? Have teachers not clocked on that there's no normal reason for teenagers to be looking down into their crotch and smirking to themselves? Because I know that's what I did.
They don't really like phones. then
My cousins who are teachers confiscate them.
Yeah,
Like that.
it's a distraction.
So okay, yeah. So you know what? That is your I'm not going to call it a punishment. It's your consequence for this. Kunal, you are confronted by the teacher, who kind of gives you a look up and down, be like, "I don't remember you coming in, phone and desk," and you know what? After school detention.
I was here the whole time. What are you talking about?
Sorry, for some reason I want your shoe to be like on the windowsill or something. I don't know why.
Look, this can absolutely flub. This can break bad in any way you imagine.
Or the rope is dangling in front of the window. It's like just something, and the teacher just looks and goes, "No." You know what? Why don't you open up your textbook to page 69, and you can read the opening section of this. All right. You're here. You're making a show of yourself. You damn kids and your Tic Tacs. You like talking. You like talking to a camera. Well, here, use the camera of life and interact with your followers in this classroom. Swipe up on education.
Real youth pastor energy going
I
on.
know. Teach, your sounding your cringe meter is through the roof, Teach.
I am cringe, but I am free.
What?
And this is where I blank on books. And I'm just like, what sounds like a passage in a book?
According to all known laws of aviation.
There are many benefits to being a marine biologist. One such benefit is you get to see starfish.
Oh my gosh, I'm already enjoying the start of this. This is a lot of fun. All right, if we do not mind, I will hop on over and Jamie, would you like to introduce us to Greg and tell us what he introduce him, who he is, and then daily routine up to and including this final period of school.
All right. Greg is a slightly taller than average, fairly muscular guy. Tends to always wear the same dirty boots. Always in jeans. Typically has a decent shirt on. And likes to wear baseball caps mainly because he spends his afternoons and early mornings out in kind of the fields, making sure that the animals, mostly horses and a couple cattle, are fed and taken care of, and everything's got to be mowed and chores, etc. Got a decent spot of land just outside of town. So when he wakes up kind of early and helps his dad with the morning chores. Kisses his mom as she makes him breakfast, and then heads on the bus and goes to school. Packs his backpack. His backpack's been kind of full lately, despite not having extra books, and kind of sit through class, typically back row, and kind of does his homework, says hello to kids every once in a while. During lunch, he doesn't sit by himself, but he doesn't talk a whole lot to the people around the table. He'll respond and he'll offer insight when "Hey, Greg, like, what do you think?" He'd be like, "Oh, well, yeah, I think it's pretty cool." Or, I mean, I don't really watch basketball, but like I hear, the Celtics are doing okay. Um, and kind of last class, he hears a commotion in the room getting next to him, kind of like someone like knock over a desk, and for like a brief moment, he like gets up and like gets like really like straight backed, and then doesn't hear any other problems. He's like, okay, and he like goes back, and the class is probably not super interesting to him. He's probably distracted by this golden butterfly that's out the window the entire time. But other than that, he's okay. Unless there is no butterfly, and I just skipped ahead for
No, no,
reasons.
no.
Okay.
Your butterfly could be anywhere you want it to be.
Yeah, it's just been outside.
Yeah, it's just kind of hanging out. Just yeah,
Hmm.
I exist. All right. Are there any challenges or tests that you would like to have done throughout the day? As just a chance to roll some math rocks and
Roll some stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. I would say he sees someone, maybe because he would be a sophomore, so he's like 14. He sees a freshman kind of drop all their stuff, and a paper gets blown down the hallway with like legs and like people just kicking it around, and he offers to go and help grab that like homework that's being knocked down the hallway.
Yeah. What would you like to roll for that?
Um,
What feels right?
Probably reflex, because he's kind of gotta be quick and maybe kind of shoulder people aside in like the nicest way possible.
Yeah, that sounds fair to me.
I'm gonna start strong with that one with my 4 dice. 46, I believe.
If there's a talent you would like to incorporate into it as well, I'm okay
The
with
talent
that.
is animal handling. I don't think that applies. Or animal, not animal handling specifically. It's animal whisperer. But I
Paper's an
don't think that
animal.
applies. Paper. If paper's an animal, we need to talk.
No,
All
you're
right.
right. It probably wouldn't apply. Okay, that looks like 2 successes to me.
Yes.
I'm just double checking if 4 is a success. Yes, 4 is a success. Wonderful. So
Awesome.
2 successes. This is a fairly standard thing. Yeah, you do it. How do you envision it? Is there anything particularly special? Is it just very normal? Like, hey, casual. Sure, we got it. You take the
Yeah.
ball.
So Greg would probably be like, "Hey, the paper," and when the quiet kid talks, especially when he's yelling down the hall, people are like, "That's a new voice," and people hear him and like kind of like stop and turn. He's like, "Oh, got it," and he like kind of rushes past. He's like, "Excuse me, pardon me." Oh, and he like moves someone aside and reaches down. And he's like, "Hey, kid, I got it,"
Okay.
and he kind of like
Um,
walks back.
if you don't mind there for a second, like, I would like to incorporate something else here. When you get to the paper, you have got it. You have succeeded. You are at the paper. What you find is that there is a boot placed firmly upon it. This person, I wouldn't say they're particularly like intimidating, or they're not. They're not some high school bully or jock stereotype, but they certainly are not renowned for their pleasantries. I mean, I haven't come up with a name for this antagonistic person as of yet, so I thought this would be a good opportunity for us as a collective to tell a story, because I also haven't decided exactly what kind of bully antagonist I wanted to go down. So what kind of vibe do we think would be cool? We can go for overly privileged asshole. We can go for just aggressive like jockey. Like, I'm happy with any kind of antagonistic energy.
I like smug.
I'm a
Mhm.
fan of smug.
Yeah, I think someone who maybe they're connected with Mayor Bjorn or his family is, or they're like someone slightly on the more well-off area, and they're kind of
Yeah.
just like smug about it. Like, yeah, I got these new Abercrombies. Deal with it.
Okay, so
I don't even know if that's like a good fucking.
I don't know if Abercrombie make boots. I was thinking Timberlands.
Those will
Yeah.
work.
Timberlands. You know what? Yeah, let's lean into a stereotype. This is a privileged white kid in like small city Colorado, so they're gonna have Timberlands. They're gonna have like designer jeans that cost like over $100. They've probably got some. I mean, I'm not hip on today's fashion for the youths, so
Do they have a Supreme brick?
yeah, you know what?
Oh, there is.
They've got a
The
Supreme.
$30 brick.
Yep. So they'll be wearing a t-shirt that says Supreme and other puffer, like the. I'm going to use the wrong word here because it's different the world over, but in my mind, I want to say gilet. They're like sleeveless jacket thing. I don't know what people in other places in the world. To me, that's a gilet.
Like a puffy vest.
Yeah. So I know a puffy vest is
Sure.
different than a puffer jacket, so it's one of them. And he's going to kind of look down at you with this just really condescending look. Just eyes like trying to burn through you because you're touching his expensive shoes now. And
All
he's,
right, I'm
like,
gonna stand up. Good.
he's just gonna look at you and go, you're like touching my drip. What is your damage, dude?
Greg's gonna stand up and be like, "Hey, sorry, but you're stepping on that freshman's homework. If you don't mind moving your drip." And just like full above average height, like
Oh,
Greg's nice, but he recognizes when sometimes a little bit of like I'm present needs to be done.
yeah, so this kid is not tall. This kid is not. This is the epitome of mediocre white guy.
Nice.
Like, so, of course, they think they're amazing, even though they have shown no signs of such. So, I mean, does anyone have a name for this douche nozzle? Because I've not thought of one yet. Immediately, my mind, I want to go with like Thad or something in that area.
Frederick, not Fred, not Freddy, Frederick.
Like, absolutely adamant on it being Frederick.
Exactly.
But what's a douchey last name?
That is a very good question.
Simonson.
See, my
don't
mind, I was going to say Jones. Like, no, we can't make this Freddie Jones. No. No. He's gotten
Wait,
enough
what if he
abuse
is Frederick
lately.
Jones, but he hates being called Freddie Jones, or like any variation of that. Or Johnson.
I like Johnson.
Frederick Johnson.
Yeah,
Or no,
Frederick Johnson.
let's put T in there to make it extra douchey. Johnston.
Johnson.
Okay. Johnston, son.
Frederick Johnsonson? Oh my
Yeah.
god. I hate him already.
Johnston,
The
son.
hell?
There's
Those
a,
are words.
there's a double
I
barrel
guess-
somewhere in that surname, but no one knows where.
I guess I apologize to any Frederick Johnsonson that may or may not be listening, but also
So, yeah, Frederick kind of...
Being our douchebag, Frederick Johnston.
There's going to be one person in the world called Frederick Johnston, son, who's going to stumble across this one day when they are not feeling great about themselves and go, Mean.
Yep. All right.
So, Frederick Johnstonson, as you have towered above him, he kind of looks down. He looks up at you, and you can see there's a mild bit of, panic. You go, no, it's okay. No, I'm cool. I've got it. I'm rich. I'm successful. I can handle this. And he lifts his foot only slightly off of the paper. He goes, sorry, dude. And then, just as you reach down to get it, he puts his foot back down on it and then scuffs it behind him before walking off, chuckling. And presumably there is a small entourage that somehow appears. They weren't there previously, but they just appear.
Obviously.
Like, ephemerally from somewhere and go, good joke, Frederick. And start to walk off. You still get the paper. It's not. It's not, bro. Like down. It's not gone too far. It's slightly damaged. It might be like a little crinkle or a tear, but you get it and you return it to this freshman and you help them out. And
yeah.
Kind
of reset my cap. There you go.
Okay. Lovely. Wonderful. If there's nothing else you would like to add to part of your part of Greg's morning escapade, well, not morning, daytime escapades, we can jump on over to Sahone.
Sure.
Yeah, so same. Who is Thomas, and what has their day been like from morning to now ish?
I think Thomas wakes up in a house by himself. Mm-hmm. This is not kind of strange for him. He gets up, he gets his keys after he gets dressed. He looks at himself in the mirror while he's straightening his hair. It's long hair, kind of a really kind of bushy, messy ponytail, kind of a simple flannel shirt and jeans and like some hiking boots and stuff, but usually keeps his sleeves rolled up, I think. Native kid grabs kind of a paper bag lunch from the fridge and his backpack by the door and heads to school. I think kind of like really kind of the big kind of moment of something happening is he's on his way to school and he sees someone kind of maybe some of these tourists or whatever talking with each other, but they stumble over and accidentally stomp on kind of one of these kind of like traffic accident shrines that you really see kind of pop up where someone got hit by a car. And I think he goes, "Look where you're going!" And they, of course, kind of probably look very raise an eyebrow that they're being yelled at this way by someone who's in middle school. But I think at this time, he takes the opportunity to stop and fix back up the shrine, kind of uncrinkle the photo of this person that was hit there, straighten back up the glass votive candles and everything, and all the well wishes and the flowers and stuff. And I think if this was like a manga panel, it would be him kind of in the center with everything else kind of fading out into white and just that showing up. But also behind the pole is a giant storm cloud colored wolf, like bigger than wolves normally are, way bigger. And this wolf is wearing like a silver gorget and like arm bracelets, and he's got tattoos and everything. He's got a small turban and stuff. Not in sort of like that you might see on like a chic man, but very much a traditional Cherokee turban that you would see kind of around like the 1830s. And it's bright and colorful and very patterned. And he's got like a scar over one eye, and he goes, "You're gonna be late." And Thomas is like, "I can afford to be late. You've seen my grades. Mom is going to be mad about it. She can afford to be mad about that too." And I think like the tone that the wolf is talking to him in is matter of fact. It's not like scolding him. It's not talking down to him, but it's very much a thing of, this is going to happen. You should keep this in mind. And instead, the wolf just sits and watches him kind of straighten it up. And I think that's kind of our snapshot of this character.
Okay. Like the other two, is there any challenge or any test or anything you would like to have occur during the day for Thomas as something to?
No. I think a lot of the time whenever someone tries to interact with him, that's not a teacher. He is hidden under big, chunky, like from the drugstore headphones, and is just kind of giving a very intense glare back at them.
That makes absolute perfect sense to me. I respect the chunky drugstore headphones. Some of the best ones you can get hold of, in my opinion.
For sure.
Okay, so the final, like, last little bit of detail, it's not super important. Where is Thomas for the last school period? Like, it's the last part of your school day. Whereabouts are you? And how does that class, or if you're skipping class, how does that go? How does that look?
I think at this point he's actually leaving the library, and is probably getting ready to head home so he can do his normal latchkey kid thing. Yeah. Which, watch something he's not supposed to, eat something he probably shouldn't.
But this is getting slightly too relatable. Stop it.
It's almost like we all had the same childhood.
Maybe.
Stop it. I am repressing
Listen.
these.
The show about the kids in Colorado is on at 5 o'clock, and I can normally watch that. If our parents
Time
aren't
to watch
home.
Baywatch, everybody.
I was going with South Park. I wasn't sure if we could name things, but yeah.
We can name things all we want. Look, if we do get copyright struck, if anything, that just means we were noticeable enough for someone to go, "Hey," and I will take that as a win.
True.
That's how
We'll be
damaged
"Our
my
bad."
ego is.
I mean, fair point.
Okay, so honey, I've just one little thing, because I want to give everyone a little bit of a scene. As you are leaving the library or preparing to leave, packing up your stuff or whatever it is you're doing, I would say you notice this, because it's fairly hard to not notice. Frederick Johnston's son is also in the library, although there's something very strange about what he is doing. He is just kind of stood near the doorway. Doesn't really appear to be doing anything. Just kind of half zoned out, but not in the usual teenage way. Doesn't have a phone in his hand, doesn't have headphones on. Just kind of stood, like, facing the door, staring at it. In a fairly inconvenient manner, because you would have to like brush past him to get around. It's weird, but we will give it that.
Yeah. So, I guess my question is, what do I see? Is it just him standing in the doorway?
Well, that is a good question. How are you looking at him?
I very much believe that whatever shamanic abilities that Thomas has, it's not something that he can turn off.
Okay, yeah, I believe you. I'm on board with that. So there's definitely something. Like, one, this is just weird. Two, there feels and there's visibly something around him, whether you'd define that as an aura or a presence, but it's very undefined. It almost feels as if it's been laying in wait and it's just starting to emerge, or maybe it's trying to suppress itself. It's whatever is there. It's not. It's doing what it can to not be fully on display, but something is going on right here and right now is why it's stopped. Well, why it's noticeable and why the Frederick Johnston's son is just kind of stood there half zoned out. Well, not half, fully zoned out.
Mm-hmm. I think Thomas is going to like reach out to put his hand on that shoulder.
Okay.
Probably in the attempt to be like, you're blocking the way, but also just curious. Even though this is probably he knows that this is probably a bad idea.
Look, if it's a bad idea, that means we should do it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Just
Bad ideas progress the plot.
yeah, just smash the button. Just go.
That's
Okay.
what I always say.
It's just every time he gets involved in something like this, bad things happen. So,
as you go and before you make contact, very anime and manga. There's a panel of the hand reaching, and it's moments away from touching, and there's this very sharp sensation, this palpable, like spiritual energy can be felt coming off as Frederick Johnston's son very quickly, head sharply turns to look over his shoulder to you, and his eyes are clearly not there. Like they're glazed over. Frederick Johnston's son, the boy, the douche nozzle, the all-round terrible person, is not currently in control, and that is clear. And
then I want to grab him more forcefully.
You're gonna try and grab?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to roll a test on that for me? Because this person is not down for being grabbed.
Is this reflexes?
Well, it's whatever you want to justify rolling for it, really.
Yeah, I think he's gonna try to be quick on this.
Okay. So I just need to quickly double check how.
Would quick-witted apply to this?
How do you want to justify it?
I guess the question it is he's very aware. He is operating off of wits instead of intelligence. This is a reaction.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay.
You'll hear me say I'll allow it quite a lot because I like people to do what they want to do.
Okay, well, I rolled 3 6s and a 2.
Wow. Okay, so I just need to quickly. You know what? I'm gonna do the GM thing. I'm gonna cheat and also roll real dice.
Okay.
I should have been prepared for this because I wasn't expecting to have to do a roll myself for a while here. That's not a D6. Math rocks.
Violence. Day one.
Fail, fail, pass, pass. Okay, so you win.
Huh.
So you, what is it exactly you're trying to you're trying to like grab with both hands and
I'm trying to play it cool, and just going to whisper, whatever it is you are, don't make trouble for me, or I will come for you.
this entity will respond. Um, right now, I wish I had the ability to do two voices at once to get that super cool. There's two beings talking through one person, but I can't. So, but we'll just have to do it for one voice. We'll go with Frederick's voice as the response. Can you just repeat exactly what you said, please?
Whatever you are, whoever you are, if you cause trouble for me, I'll come for you.
You can come all you want. I'm already here, dude. And with that, both hands will like very quickly and very unnaturally like shoot up and bat your hands away as Frederick kicks the library door open and starts running.
I think it's very much this teen is just going in the doorway now. Just kind of like head in hands, mumbling, "My mom's gonna be so mad."
Anyone hearing that scene is just like, oh, the typical groans of high schoolers.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, if you don't mind, can we put a little pause on that scene and we can check
absolutely
in with Sable? Nada, would you be so kind as to do what we've had so far? Describe the character, a little bit about them, who they are, have a look, and how their day so far has gone from waking up to the last-ish period of school.
No problem, Bardic. So she is a shorter than average teenager, but also 11. I've decided she's not going to be that much younger. Brown skin, brown, wavy hair, all pretty much just buttoned up in flannels like this. And
I love how flannel is the like big aesthetic of this whole group. Like Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh god. So true, unfortunately. She probably gets out of bed, like her dad's probably working from home. She like fist bump, meets her mom. It like in the kitchen's like, hey, small talk, but it's like she's like sort of asking like, what are you doing today? I'm like, I don't know. And Sable's like, I don't know, but like check out this anatomy thing I'm doing with fucking she doesn't say fucking, I'm so sorry.
No, it's a lot of people go, look at this fucking horse.
The mom
is
just
fucking
stops.
horse. Amazing first words to come out of her mouth is a swear, which is actually the opposite of how I wanted her to be. So she's just like, check out, like, is my line work okay? And she looks and she like shows it to her mom. She's like, yeah, I think if you wanted to consider the perspective, the next might be a little longer than you think. And then Sable's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna look it up at school. Thank you. And then she like takes her breakfast and goes. And then for the most part, in school, she's pretty quiet. Like to a teacher slash person that doesn't know her, it just looks like she's studying something and or writing something at all time because she has several books she cycles through. One of them, obviously, a sketchbook, and then one of them, obviously, about animal references for drawing that she probably lifted from the library. So, she like probably pressed her face on the window when Kunal was like ziplining, like, "Oh my god, oh no!" And then she's like doesn't make a single noise and doesn't bring attention to it. And then she like sees Greg at lunch, but probably literally had like art inspiration. So she normally sits alone at lunch, and then um like understands or doesn't understand, I should say, that social circles naturally occur during the lunch period. So she's like, I'm gonna float over, but then like maybe catches Greg at the tail end, maybe catches Thomas like right before the next period. And like I'm not like, I was thinking about if there would be a test for her, because really what she would most like to do is literally hang from a tree and read to herself after doing the minimum amount of socialization that keeps her parents to be not worried about her, you know. So yeah, that could that's not reflex, is it? Yeah, I could roll a reflex.
Well, the wonderful thing about this game is it's very malleable. So
Yeah.
whatever you want to justify as using, so long as it's not entirely out of the realms of feasible, it's doable. Like, you know, as long as you aren't trying to justify winning an arm wrestling match with, you know, brains, for example. Well, you probably could if you justified it. So whatever you find to be appropriate for the activity you're trying to do.
I think reflex makes sense, and I suppose I'll roll it. That's 2 successes.
2 successes. You do it. You're hanging upside down. Are you drawing or are you reading?
Right now I'm probably reading, and I'm hanging upside down so that I can think better. And I, like, unbeknownst to anyone, I have like a little stuffed toy in the back, in like the backpack that I have, that I'm like quietly talking to as I'm narrating my whatever it is. It probably has to do like with a story akin to Warrior Cats, but probably for horses. That is probably not as popular, but definitely has a cult following. That yeah, she's reading to her horse about Warrior Horse. So
I like that. I respect that. All right, cool. Okay. So it's mildly frustrating because the scene I have in mind, what I'd like to include, I need to jump somewhere else and then jump back to you if that's all right. Because, you know, time is warped and space is bendable, so these things are all occurring at the time where we feel, oh yeah, that works out all right. So what I would like to do is we will jump back to Frederick Johnstonson, pushing Thomas away and kicking the door open and sprinting down the hallway. At this time, the final bell of the day goes, and it's a middle school, high school-esque environment. There's way too many kids coming out into this hallway. And Frederick Johnstonson is just going to start shoving past them. And not in a normal teenager shoving past. Like, this is excessively aggressive, one would say. Almost as if barely recognizing these are people. And full-on shoving, shuffling. Greg and words, name, Kunal. That's it. I wasn't sure if it was Kunal or Kamal, and I wanted to make sure I was right. So yeah, Kunal. So, Greg, Canal, you have come out of your classrooms. Obviously, Canal, you have been told you have after-school detention. So, but you see Frederick just bucking it down, shoving kids out the way. Is there any natural reaction to this? And
I think Kunal would just feel like I think he would probably try to snark him and just be like, "Hey, Freddy, are you too busy rushing to get the supreme butt scratcher?"
sick burn.
Thanks.
Greg would be like, "Hey," and go to like the nearest two that got shoved aside and kind of just make sure that they're okay.
Yeah. That is absolutely fine. So you're gonna try and help people. Canal, you're gonna try and ensure this kid needs some aloe later. But the response isn't really given. In fact, it's uncharacteristic that Frederick wouldn't stop dead in his tracks, come back, and start trying to throw down and roast you in return. The biggest response you get is a hand firmly planted in your chest as you are shoved back. And something didn't quite feel right about it. There was more strength than one would expect. And not just because, not like, ooh, Frederick's like super secretly buff or whatever. Just like, okay, no, there was an additional level of force there. Like,
Christ, do they put steroids in the Trader Joe's now?
Seeing this, and knowing that Frederick is a twig, Greg is going to take a breath and like refocus himself like he was taught, and be able and channel the Burikama. Is that what it's called?
Furioku.
Shurioku, kind of like through his vision, could like be like, that was weird, and kind of see what's going on.
Yeah. Similar to what I described earlier to Sahone, it's like there is most definitely a presence, whether you want to define it as an aura or so. There is a malicious, unhuman, unliving, spiritual energy currently shrouding Frederick.
Oh, shit. Oh no. Ugh. I'm gonna go look around and hopefully seeing that most of the kids are fine. Will be like, can't let this happen, and begin to follow Frederick whilst kind of waving a hand out, like, and those who can see it notice a golden flaming butterfly kind of comes through a wall with extremely long tails on both ends of its wings, kind of alights on his hand, and he kind of like moves it to his shoulder.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. So we have Greg going, I'm going to follow. Thomas, I know you were doing high school frustrated groan.
Yeah.
Were you deciding to also pursue?
Yeah, no, he is booking it and like angry at himself for not being able to ignore something like this.
Okay. And then Canal, what is your response to this very firm hand plant to the chest? And I guess you will probably notice Greg and Thomas, who are actively, they are visibly pursuing Frederick.
I gotta make sure I catch this.
Sorry, can you repeat that? There was a slight audio issue there for a second.
Sorry. Probably because I spoke as I unmuted. I think I was going, oh, a fight? Better catch this. That way I can go viral, these things go viral all the time.
High school fights? People love clicking on that.
Yeah.
Alright, so following in hot pursuit, we will cut to outside, where we have a blissfully unaware Sable hanging from a tree, reading. Sable, you're reading. It's a good book. You are engrossed. Your eyes will flicker away from a book ever so slightly as you see Frederick Johnston's son, local douchebag, sprinting full force in your direction, not moving, not changing path. Do you react? Do you have a plan, or are you hoping that he's not going to run straight into you?
So I am in a tree. So like, I never specified how high it is.
This is
but
very
I'm
true.
gonna- I know we joked about that at session 0, but I am in a tree. I'm gonna hope if he's not gonna run vertically up, that I'm just gonna put my book away and like brace myself, and like not hide necessarily, but look for help. So like if there's anyone following, or if like what might be behind me,
I mean,
that would probably be what she would do.
you can most definitely notice Greg and Thomas and Canal seem to be actively pursuing. There might be a few other kids who are like, "Ooh, what's going on? Frederick is kicking off." But there's some people you definitely notice. Okay, if you're relatively high up, so you don't need to worry about him running into your face or anything as you hang. But as he runs, he does not veer off his path. He is running straight towards the tree in a horribly aggressive manner. It almost looks as he is about to run straight into the tree. At this moment, those of you with spiritual awareness, if you are using it actively or whether it's something you can't turn off, you will notice something like this malefic, horrible aura. It seems to form something around Frederick's right hand. It kind of extends out and then like almost forms something resembling vaguely a T shape, maybe. It's not particularly well defined. And as he is running, this thing seemingly shapes and forms and hits into the tree. And there's seemingly a moment of nothing happening before an excessive show of force is enacted upon this tree. There is a loud, audible crack as it looks as if something has been spiked into the tree, causing it to break and start to topple.
Oh, shit.
As Frederick is just keeping on running, there was something in his way, and he cut through it.
Oh no!
Oh, child.
There is a small child in the tree. Well, how would people like to try and do something here?
Greg recognizes Sable from her time drawing the horses. Goes, ah! And Craig like sprints and kind of put himself in a position where he's or she would be catchable, or at least like, I'm here. I'm not gonna go underneath the tree like an idiot, but like I'm close.
Okay, all right. I will ask for some tests in a second. I'm just going to find out what everyone else is doing, and then we'll figure out how to make everything work. So Greg is position, going to do a catch. Kunal, how is Kunal reacting to this tree seemingly just being smashed open?
I'll catch that on camera.
If you've had your camera out, going, yeah, you. I mean, obviously your camera can't. Actually, I have no idea how spirits show up on camera.
It's generally not unless they make themselves able to.
Yeah. So the camera probably wouldn't show anything. It would just kind of look like Frederick running, and then his hand swings near the tree, just as if someone took a massive railroad spike or something akin to that and just hammered it into the tree. So it's a noticeably circular entry point upon the tree that then has expanded out. And it almost looks like slightly burned as well. But you saw it just like, if you blinked, you maybe be like, wow, what a weird coincidence. Like a bolt of lightning hit the tree at that exact moment, I guess, in a weird angle. I don't know. I can't justify it. It was definitely weird. And you caught it. And
I think Kunal would treat this as, for those who've ever been cursed to have watched Ghost Adventures, like very much speaking like attempting like a dude bro funny voice. It's just like, whoa, what do they put in the Whole Foods these days? And it's just like, let's see what the hell Freddie J is up to.
Okay, wonderful. I love how we're still reminding like the chat is just going a child in the tree. We will get to a child in the tree because I feel that's the last one. Thomas, what are you doing? You have also seen this.
Yeah. There's a question of, do I know Sable's in the tree?
I would
I
say
think she said, "Oh no," out loud.
yeah.
Okay, fair.
Actually, yeah, that probably changes.
Yeah, so I hear "oh no" after just a loud splintering. And I think there's like a moment of hesitation and doubt that crosses his face, and just not sure about what his action is, but then he like doggedly leaps over the trunk as it falls, like as it tips like sideways, and just like kicks off of it, and is still going after this guy.
Okay, so the tree is starting to fall. There is a child in the tree. And Thomas goes, I'm going to jump past the tree and kick the tree and make it fall more.
No. I want to specify, it's not kick down the tree, it's kick off the tree.
Well,
kick it from the side.
You're still exerting force against a falling tree.
So I think what I'm imagining is like Thomas does like anime drop kick to this tree to like kick it back upright.
No, I don't think he's kicking it back upright, but I do think that he's like trying to push off of it to gain momentum.
Okay,
is what it is. It's a forward momentum for keeping it forward, for not dooming it.
Sorry, I'm a horrible person in my mind. It's like, wait, the tree's falling, and you run and you kick it and help
children.
it fall.
Hate children, I say as a child. No.
And
but I do think that there is like the moment of hesitation, and then I need to react.
Okay.
And this is how he chooses to react.
You know what? Every reaction is a valid reaction.
I think he at least goes take care of that before he goes off.
That's like, what?
See, I mean, obviously, I am not your character. I do not get dictation about how what your character does. In my mind, I kind of love the image of Thomas running, jumping, kicking the tree, being really cool, and then remembering afterwards and going, take out the kid!
Yeah, no, it's listen, I took the kid type loner, so we're just going full Sasuke with this if we can.
Yes,
he's addressing the cause of the problem.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like,
it's not that he's not caring. He knows that if a bad thing is happening, and that is probably the worst thing.
It's a very reasonable, like, I'm doing an assessment, this is purely logical, someone else will take care of the kid, it's fine.
Great.
Yeah, exactly that. Inside, he's like, this isn't fine. But he buries that.
I'm really enjoying this whole vibe. I'm just gonna say it's great.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last person who is also having a reaction, being Sable. Your tree is falling. What would you like to try and do?
It sure is, and I think she wants to like clutch at her backpack, but I'm trying to think. She would probably like in preparation for the running that was happening already. She probably hopped on her feet, but now that she's not like wrapping her limbs around anything, she's like, I'm gonna fall. So she says, "Oh no!" and then like takes out her stuffed horse toy and hugs it to her chest. It says, "Oh no, oh no," and then like basically just wishes for, because I believe it would make sense for her to be a fledgling. Now she just thinks, she thinks to intentionally summon Mary, which is her Animon spirit, to see if Mary could help.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. I
She
enjoy.
Can't really grip onto anything as it's tilting over the whole tree, I'm assuming. So
All right.
Yeah.
I like all of these. Before I start asking for roles and things, I'm just going to go back to Canal, because I think you said you wanted to tweak something or add something.
Yeah, I was about to say. Actually, I thought about it, but I was like, you know what? Maybe Kunal starts off as a bad influence of like leaving the child in danger to go get views, and then realizes, oh, maybe Kunal is so obsessed with getting views that he didn't hear the kid in danger.
Just didn't think about it. It's like, I've got to follow this. There's some. Okay. All right. Wonderful. So, Greg, can you roll a test for me for attempting to position to catch?
Okay. I think I'm going to ask this be spirit for him to like kind of be able to know he's kind of in the harm's way, but he's gotta get to it and figure everything out.
Yeah.
All right, and then can I use my my virtue of kindness for this?
Okay, I now need to remember, because I know virtue
Actually,
can play into something.
Sorry, I knew there was something that might apply in my kick type. The gentle heart says I can gain a boost when I go out of my way to help those in need.
There we go. Yes. So with a boost,
Awesome.
that means you succeed on a 3 or higher.
Huzzah! All right.
So I think this is mildly justified to say the difficulty of this is going to be a 3.
Okay.
Because you're trying to catch a child from a falling tree. It's slightly more difficult than an average activity.
Okay.
So
all right.
Let's see how this goes.
Roll my 3d6.
That is 1 success and 2 failures, sadly.
No.
It's all right. Don't fret about it too much. So unfortunately, you're doing the absolute best you can. You're getting a position. I mean, obviously, if you wanted to, you can use spend a bond point and attempt again. If you would
Actually, yeah, I would like. What is it? Pushing? Is that what it is?
Yes, you can push the roll. Let me just double check how that works. So if you just can't afford to fail, you can force yourself to go beyond your normal limits, and you push, so you get a chance to roll again, including any bonuses. And obviously, you can you have additional bond points you can spend as well. If you want to really push, to get additional d6 to roll for this.
Okay. I'm going to push. I'm going to flavor it where the butterfly is kind of it's weak But the tendrils are like wrapping around Greg to try to like pull him out of the way to get the bond string in there.
Mm-hmm.
But Greg is holding his ground and is gonna try to not mess up this time.
Okay, yeah.
But he's being angry about it, not angry, but stubborn about it. So I'm gonna roll 4.
Yeah, go
dice.
for it.
All right, come on.
I see 3 successes there.
Aha.
3, 6, and 5, because obviously you do still have the boost for this being
Yes.
going out of your way for being kind. So
Mhm.
yeah, you do manage to position yourself, and you're there. You're ready to catch the falling child. It is perfectly lined up. I mean, I'm not going to take away from your catching. You succeeded. You did this. You are right in the place.
Awesome.
However, just because I'm mildly amused by the concept of it, Sable. If you're a capable young person, you know what you're doing. You're falling. You're going to go, you know what? It's time for my horse to show up. Mary, help me out. Give me a nice softer landing. So, what does this look like when you invoke the presence of your spirit ally of Mary?
I think it is a little subtle, so that people who may be panicking in the moment almost miss it.
Mhm.
But it is like steam or some sort of glowing light comes from the backpack, floats out, and then like I think she's like clutching her book. So like the book she's clutching like starts to expand to give like the thing that's coming out of her backpack is going to like get into her grasp and then start forming just like this really soft silky hair of a horse. And there is like very anxiety ridden big brown eyes from like the head of this creature that is visible from her, basically curling up in a ball around it. And I think as she falls, it's like a soft glow, and no one can hear. She's just like chanting to herself, just Mary, 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 please, Mary, please, Mary, please. And then Mary, the toy, sort of wiggles and changes the trajectory of her fall so that she, instead of falling at a diagonal with the tree, she starts to float at a sort of not horizontal, so that Greg misses like the trajectory, like the first time probably before pushing, like miscalculated the trajectory, but it is like she sort of cushioned in a soft green light that basically slows her down. I didn't need to complicate it much more than that.
This is fine. This is good. So there is this. I mean, obviously, once again, spirits are not something that is seen by everyone. So you don't have to worry about the bozos just walking out of school.
Yeah.
I was going to say Tom, Dick, and Harry, but we already have a Thomas. So whoever they are, Joe, Bo, and Bojo, they don't notice. They just see you falling. But obviously, someone like Greg, for example, would see this presence around you as Greg has caught you. There is this, so there's just this horse head just with you, helping you. Greg's like, that is a horse head.
Oh. I don't think I knew you had the friend, Sable.
Meanwhile, Sable, you can see this golden butterfly around Greg assisting him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen your friend either. Her name's Mary, and then she like shows you this very stressed out horse head. That's like the eyebrows are perpetually like this.
Nice. This is Olin. They're new.
Okay. Uh,
Are you good for me to put you down?
oh, yes, thank you.
All right.
That was scary.
Yeah, pretty sure Frederick's possessed, and he's an awful guy. But we can't. I
Yeah.
can't let him be possessed. That's not.
Oh,
Yeah, he
how,
doesn't
how?
deserve that.
Yeah, my mom said that I shouldn't talk to bad people, and he seems. But how do you? How do we? How? I didn't notice anything. I was busy. What do we
No,
do?
it's fine.
Where'd he
My,
go?
my grandma said sometimes you can use these spirits to get rid of not nice spirits. So
Oh,
maybe Mary, if you want. I mean, you're like 11, but I'm gonna go, and Owen and I are gonna go help with that.
she puffs up her chest a little, but she doesn't deny the fact that she is 11. She instead, that is fine. I think Mary could use the encouragement to try and help someone, because I don't know if I would it make me a bad person to not help a bad person out of a bad situation.
I don't think so. I mean, again, you're like a kid. So it's not really. I mean, I'm also a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a lot to think about.
Well, let's go together then.
I think
It
they
is a
went
lot.
that way.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and she's like looking for whoever is either trailing behind or going ahead.
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, in my mind, immediately after going, the response being told you're 11.5. But okay, so Greg and Sable, you're gonna start pursuing. All right, wonderful.
Yes. To just get a note, Allen kind of sounds like bells when they flap around, like when not necessarily every time they're flapping, but it's like this is Allen, and it goes like ding ding, like as if it was communicating via bells.
That's a really cool detail. I like that.
Thanks.
All right, so I'm gonna jump back to Thomas and Canal, who were already pursuing. They went, the child will be fine. It's just a falling tree. She'll figure it out. So Thomas, you are sprinting. You did your badass tree kick, jump, pursue moment, and Canal. You're like, oh man, they're gonna fight. I'm super pumped. Let's get it. For brevity, I'm going to assume that Canal has managed to catch up in some way, so that at least is within noticeable distance of Thomas, and you are both within noticeable distance of Frederick. So there could be a level of communication between Canal and Thomas whilst undergoing this pursuit, if the two of you so wished to shout things at one another.
I think Kunal would be like, because I think we established before, like Kunal and Thomas talk art. If I
Yeah,
recall.
I think they are technically in art class together.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Kunal would just be like, "Wait, aren't you that quiet kid in art class?"
Yeah, and you should be. You shouldn't be here right now. It's dangerous.
And why are you being here then if it's dangerous?
Because I can handle it.
Yeah, okay. It's just the local douchebag. What's he gonna do?
More than you know, I say, like narrowing my eyes and just as I.
Oh no, a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna whoop his ass and then he's just gonna sue. It'll still be funny to watch.
Well, hopefully not this time.
Oh, wait, you're gonna let him beat you up?
No. What? No.
You said not this time to me, suggesting that you beat him up and then he sues you.
No, the suing part. The suing part's the part I'm focusing on.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he's a rich resident douchebag. What else does he do?
Try to his dad.
Exactly. And what does his dad do?
Sue people.
So, can I just double check? Are you both still running during this conversation,
Yes,
or
I am,
have you
I am
stopped
not
to go? Wait,
slowing
hang
down.
on, Sue. Damn.
No, not at all. Not
Yeah,
one
no,
bit.
we're not
I am
stopping.
always going forward.
Okay, yeah, cool. As this pursuit is ongoing, you're running. There's some trees and a forest relatively close to the school. As you keep pushing and going through, it eventually reaches a clearing. As you find yourself near a very notorious spot of a very old, abandoned, collapsed mine shaft. It is notorious because sometimes teenagers come and hang out around here. It's also notorious because you don't go near the abandoned mine shaft. Your parents have told you many, many times it's an abandoned mine shaft. Don't go near it. That's a terrible idea. I don't care if that's where the cool kids go. Don't do it. And you will catch a glimpse of Frederick running straight on into the entrance of this thing, like heading into the pitch dark. Are you stopping? Are you pausing? Are you just run?
I think that there's a slight slowdown as he's getting to the mine, but only to pull out his phone so he can go forward at a more cautious pace with a light. And like this is obviously not like a good phone, but it's good enough to have flashlight app, and that's the part that matters.
Yeah, it's 3 or 4 or 5 generations out of date.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very relatable to this. I still had like an iPhone 4 up until like a year or 2 ago. It still works.
Amazing.
It works. It's fine.
It does what I want.
Yeah, that's the part that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Kunal, you're seeing Thomas. He's pulling out his phone. He's slowing. He's being more cautious. Are you gonna join him in the cautiousness, or are you going?
Yeah, and plus, like, for the recording, there needs to be light. It's not gonna look good if it's like, oh, look at this dark cave where like you can't see diddly squat.
At any point, is Kunal like motivated to attempt to give a narration to this video?
I think I was just gonna be like, all right, it looks like Thomas and Freddy are gonna duke it out in the abandoned mines, the ultimate arena of them all. And
I think that point, like, Thomas looks back, is just glaring, is like, why are you here? Just
as an impartial witness. But also kick his ass, Thomas.
at that point, Thomas like, yeah, whatever. But I think yeah. I think he is going to ask Rabbit Killer, do you sense anything? And call forth that giant wolf that appeared kind of in his intro.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. I very much want to know if Kamal can see this giant wolf.
I think at that moment, Kunal says, oh, whoops, technical difficulties. Gotta cut this short, but I'll tell you how it went in a retrospective mukbang or something. And he's just like, Yo, yours is a wolf?
What? You can see him?
Well, yeah, it's a giant wolf. Am I not supposed to see? Oh, wait a minute. You're 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 a shaman?
Technically cunning, man. I'm not very good at it.
Oh yeah, my parents did say that they just use the term shaman because it's the easier one.
Eh. Wait, so
Or
you
like-
know about this stuff?
I mean, yeah.
That makes things a lot easier. But I like as he says that, I don't think he slows down. I think if anything, he's picked up pace a little bit because now he's like, all right, so this guy knows what's going on. Now I don't also have to babysit them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably reasonable response to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kunal will keep up, but will put his phone away and pull out like this can of spray paint that looks like old and beaten,
Mhm.
but except for like these like intricate like markings on it that look like they're refreshed almost daily. Like it's like a spray paint can, but with like sigils painted on it.
Nice.
I think that's really cool. Okay, for just once again, just for ease, somehow we're not going to question it too much. Greg and Sable will probably have just about caught up if they are in pursuit here. So if that's all right, and we're just going to bring everyone in together. Yeah. So Greg, Sable, you somehow you two can run so fast that you manage to catch Sable, have a little conversation, and then caught up only a little bit later. So you catch up and you see Thomas with this wolf person hanging out next to them, and you also see Kamal, who's pulled out this very intricate and impressive spray can looking thing. And obviously you also Thomas and Kanal, you see the anxiety-ridden horse head being carried by Sable, and this golden burning butterfly sitting on Greg's shoulder. You go, okay.
Can I use Along or Alling to like below because they are a fiery body creature, like this as a light source? Does that work?
Yes, of course you can. So
Awesome.
glowing light. I don't know if there's a particular need for everyone to go, oh, you have one too, or if there's just a general knowing consensus. Everyone nods it and goes, we got it.
Yeah, okay. Thomas definitely does like a knowing nod.
All right, so you step into the abandoned, collapsed mine shaft. Abandoned, collapsed, abandoned. Those two adjectives, mine shaft. You step in, and it's dark, but it's lit up, and it is eerily quiet. There's maybe the occasional sound of water dripping, and then if you stop and just listen a little bit closer, you can hear very sporadically what kind of sounds like metal hitting against rock. It's very slow, but it's very deliberate, and there's maybe a slightly labored breathing, and there's this voice that you do not recognize as Frederick. This quite high pitched, not quite. I'm trying to think of the best word. Right, it doesn't sound like it belongs to a person of a stable mindset. It's this heavy breathing and this. It is a very unpleasant sound to hear in the dark. I will tell you that much. how would you like to proceed?
Well, it's probably the spirit. I I hope that's the spirit, because if that's not a spirit, that's a completely separate problem. I say in character.
Mhm.
So that spirit's not a friend, right?
Friendly spirits, based on what my grandma said, don't possess people and like shove others to the side, like he
Oh.
was doing.
That's true.
I'm not.
Uh,
I'm not a fan of bullies.
Me
Well,
neither.
I mean,
Should we go? Should we go in? Like, she's scared, but she doesn't. She's trying to not look
Mhm.
scared. Like she's like, we can. I don't know. And then she looks
Thomas
at
is already stepping forward.
All right, Thomas.
Wow. Wait, don't go alone. No, I just mark the calling out. It doesn't have to stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Canal, do you have a response to everything going on?
I think Kunal just loosens the nozzle on his bottle. Like, actually, I think I'm going to add another impressive feature about it. You notice that this bottle seems to have, like, a very complicated looking... Like, you see him start fiddling with it, and it looks like he's fidgeting, but then you realize he's, like, moving it to different settings. And, like, it's hard to tell because, like, I imagine... I haven't fleshed... You know what? Let's use Hindi for his native tongue. Like, the inscriptions aren't Hindi, so unless anyone here secretly has languages, they probably can't read what it does. But you notice it. I think everyone could probably make out that each of these inscriptions is a word, and he's moving the nozzle to point at one of these, like point outwards towards one of these words. And when he finishes, like a little wisps of smoke seem to be coming from the bottle.
Okay. I really dig this. There's a really good, strong level of intrigue and mystery as to what's going to go on there. As you keep falling down the mine shaft, it's not super deep in, because, you know, when this collapsed easily 100, 200 years ago, it collapsed pretty far out. So it's not that far in you need to go before you get to a dead end. You know, there's a small clearing for, you know, plot convenience sake. And as you get to this open-ish part of the mine shaft, lit up, you can see Frederick, who is, you know, currently topless, swinging this oversized pickaxe that doesn't look real. It looks as if it has been, like, fabricated, or it is clearly made of this same spiritual energy that is possessing Frederick currently. And Frederick is wildly swinging it. Like, it's slow and methodical, but the swing is with so much force that you can almost see Frederick's body, like, ricochet back after each swing. And engrossed around him, you can vaguely make out the shape of a much larger, older man. And that is where the sound of this, like, uncontained, like, beyond motivated, or obsessed, this obsessed panting and laughter is coming from, as you hear it go, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Does anyone wish to initiate here, or
Well, Greg's gonna put his backpack down, take out like this blanket, kind of like wrap it around himself, and then take out like a stick with like a little like pointed end, and be like, "I didn't get this far. He's like, I don't know what to do.
I do. I say, like, cracking my knuckles.
Oh boy. Sable puts Mary down on the floor.
I think I want to do something. I want to do possession, basically, which is in Shaman King. What happens is you take your spirit, put it into ball mode, you shove it into your chest, and now you basically are sharing your body with your spirit.
Yeah.
And this is like the most basic shaman thing, the way that it's presented in the series.
Yeah. This is
yeah.
the very, like, okay, you're going to use the power of your spirit and you're going to go
and
at
you're
it.
going to be able to, you're going to be able to do all of these sort of skills and supernatural things that this thing would normally be able to do, you know, outside of maybe, like, breathe fire or whatever. It's very much a, you can move in unnatural ways and use their fighting techniques.
Okay, so Thomas is straight up, I'm ready to brawl. Let's do it. Let's do a fight.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I think he, before he does, he's gonna have the spirit ball in his hand. Yeah, he's doing kind of, you know, his big anime pose where he before he does it, he goes, "No one should control others," and then shove it inside himself.
Yeah, there's it's not a full magical girl transformation sequence, but there's definitely there is a transformation sequence-esque moment where there's definitely like there is a palpable sensation.
He is holding himself in a very different way now.
Would you like to define exactly what that is, or?
Yeah, sure. I think his eyes have a very different feel to them. It is there is a circle, a ring that is not normally there within it, and instead of kind of his normal slouching he's carrying himself very upright, but his heels are already digged in, and he's kind of holding his hands in kind of like a clawed motion.
Okay. I dig that. All right. Before we go into any kind of initiative or anything like that, Greg, Canal, Sable, would any of you also like to go, all right, fight time, let me show you my shaman skills, and assume a pose, or are we just going to jump in and see how you all react?
I think Kunal isn't going to. I think Kunal is going to step back as if backing away, but is then going to point the spray paint can into his mouth and like push the button. Mm-hmm. And now the wisps of smoke just start flowing into him as he just starts to like prepare to do the same.
I dig that. That's really cool.
But he's not going to be as blatant about it as Thomas.
All right.
Yeah.
Greg, Sable, do you? Sable has a full-on battle sequence that she does.
Yes. Greg will see Thomas's like overt possession and be like, okay, and then like take the burnt stick in his hand and kind of like close his eyes and focus on it, and a kind of like a tether of like light and fire goes from the stick and up into Olin, like, and when Greg opens his eyes, there's like a small flicker of fire in his pupils, but it's very much like a different type of spirit shaman interaction than the other two.
Yeah, I really dig this. I'm liking that there's a lot of variation in what we're doing here. And then Sable. How's Mary handling everything?
I think, I guess I just decided today that she has a very colloquial view of the whole aspect of being a shaman, because she knows that she is, but she also is like very not physically opposing. So she instead, like, she puts Mary on the ground. She sort of pops up on her own, like she's not inanimate necessarily. And Sable herself sort of slips into like a sort of shadowy darkness that has been slowly emanating from Mary, the nightmare horse. So it's sort of helping also cloak her and ready for it, to be prepared, I should say, for acting defensively, or perhaps like going aggressively going aggressively head on with the spirit itself.
Yeah.
So it is her stepping back and then disappearing. It would make sense to like have her tiny Tagalog feature to allow her to be overlooked in the situation, so that whatever sees a potential threat doesn't go for her first.
Okay, yeah, I really dig that. So, at this moment, would we all like to roll an initiative?
Sure. How do we do that in this game?
So, initiative, you have your initiative score, which is basically directly the same as your brains. And you are going to roll as if you're rolling a brains test. And then you count up the number of successes you have, and that gives you your initiative order. So if you roll like 4 successes, all right, your initiative score is 4. You're here. And so it's just like you'd roll a test, and then we add up the successes. Obviously, boosts and setbacks do exist as well, so they will come into play if anyone here feels justified in rolling with a boost or a success.
The only thing I feel is like this is a sense of justice for him, but that I don't think that's going to matter at this point. This is about like a sense of liberty, but like I rolled 1 success.
Okay.
On that.
So, what am I seeing? I'm seeing 1 success from Sable. I'm seeing 1 failure from Greg. We have.
Sorry. Roll the kids. Or
yes.
The spirits.
The spirits.
Okay. Actually, does smoky body help here? Like staying hidden?
I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Let's say that gives you a boost. So that puts you up to 2. So.
Could I also get a boost?
Pardon?
Sorry. Could I also get a boost for based on what I described earlier as being overlooked for my feature?
Yes. I'm very much okay with that. So 2 successes, 1 success for Thomas, 1 success for Frederick, and no successes for Greg. So ties always go to the players. So it's going to, obviously you can decide who you'd rather go first here. Either Canal or Sable. So it's going to go you 2, Greg, Frederick, you 2, Thomas, Frederick, Greg. I'll just make a little initiative thing here. We've got Sable, no. That's not how you spell Thomas. Thomas, Frederick, and Greg. So that should pretty much just be the order there. Obviously, Sable and Canal, you can switch which order you would like to go in if one of you has got a desperate burning desire to go first.
Oh, I think she'd rather go second, though. To be cautious.
Yeah.
Interested in what Kunal's going to do with that thing.
And, it's. I love it. Well, yeah, I guess it's going to be watch or two. So, I'm trying to think what to use to powers. Actually, I should probably turn to the combat section and just be like, what can I do in a combat?
That is a very good question. So, for the most part, obviously you can make an attack. You've got your signature attack, so on and so forth. When it comes down to it, you roll with a stat to attack, and then there's an opposed roll. Your attack versus their defense. Whoever gets most successes wins, and you add successes onto your damage as well. I'm just double checking that. So,
Actually, I have an idea. I'm going to use my signature attack.
Okay, yeah.
So what? So my signature attack is called Pipe Dream, where Kier makes smoky illusions that eventually manifest into real ones. So what Kunal and Kier are going to do is basically try to have the smoke gradually trail so that it goes under Thomas, then branches out from Thomas and coalesces into two more Thomases.
Nice.
That's really cool. So, mechanically, what is that actually doing then?
So it will do a misdirect.
Okay. Now I need to double check what the fuck a misdirect is. Conditions. Is it? Where the frick is misdirect? This is why I put all these things on here, so I can quickly double check. So, signature attack effect. Here we go. Big brain. Misdirect. Okay, so when this attack successfully hits, you disorient your target until next turn, as well as dealing damage as normal. You cannot disorient the same target more than once in a combat encounter. Alright. So, would you like to make your attack roll?
Yes. Can I pick which stat I use, right?
Yeah. I think so long as you can justify it, you can kind of do it. Obviously, they're tied into different things. So if you're going to use your power, it's like brute force. If you're going to use your heart, it's... I don't remember how they justify it. But if you can justify it, then go for it.
I'm going to go with brains, then go like this is like a tricky scheme type of attack. Like, it's a lot of coordinating the smoke so as not to give away Kunal's position, but to make it look like it's Thomas doing it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So roll with brains.
Okay, and with Smoky Body kick in here.
Remind me what Smoky Body actually specifies, or is that just a quality? I forget.
It's the quality.
Yeah, I think that kicks in. That's the whole point of what you're doing here.
So that's what, an extra die, or is that like one success automatic?
I think Smoky Body will act as a boost here, meaning you succeed on a 3.
Oh, okay. That's 2 successes.
Yep. And that is 2 failures on the dodge. So you are straight up making contact here. Now, I'm going to remind myself how dealing damage works, because this matters. Because I think the number of successes you have adds to that. So, on top of that, attack deals extra damage equal to the difference of attack and the dodge rolls. So, you get to add 2 to your damage here.
Whoa.
And my normal damage is 6, so that's going to be 8 damage.
Yeah.
Nice.
That is
I did not know.
Is the element relevant here?
That depends. What element are you using?
I'm using Mirage.
That does not come into effect yet. So you've created these two Smoky Thomases. I think that's a really cool nickname, or like that sounds like some crooner singer. You know, here's Smoky Thomas opening for Frank Sinatra. Um, how does this look? What's the?
So I think, like I said, it's the smoke creeps out from under Thomas, and then like it comes up more blatantly around Thomas. Then it splits off into two more Thomases that both like go in the smoke and illusion. I think then what's it? Kier conjures up like a dart of smoke and chucks it straight into the prospector, because this is a prospector. The prospector has to have one eye. Yeah, no, just goes into the prospector's quote unquote good eye.
Yeah. Okay, I really dig that. It's just, you hear this prospector like cough and splutter and you trying to stop me from getting my stuff? I'll shoot you. You trying to stop him getting his stuff?
I know, and he's gonna try to shoot you. You know, this is Pokemon Japanese pre-fortune.
Obviously.
Use Mud Slap.
Yes.
And he is now disorientated. Disoriented? That word. Meaning he is going to be rolling with a setback on all of his attack rolls for the next turn. I think it's only for one turn. I literally just read it and then immediately forgot it. Disoriented. Setback on any attack rolls they make. I just need to double check how long misdirect lasts for. This is good. We're learning. We're getting it quick. So until your next turn. Okay, so yeah, this prospector is rolling with a setback, meaning he only succeeds on a 4 on his attacks for the next round, which is really good. Okay, so then we will hop to Sable. Sable.
I think she sees this happening. Probably clings a little to like a stone pillar that's nearby. As she's getting like a little more overly scared, Mary is like feeding off of it and becoming like, she looks scared and scary at the same time. I'm thinking signature attack makes the most sense here.
Yeah.
For her to sort of like her what's the word? Her ulterior motive would be to like disarm, like take the pickaxe out of the equation somehow. But if she could just stampede the spirit, she will. So she has an ability called Solo Stampede that's efficient, and I'm gonna see if Wild Charge should apply if there's like a clear line of sight here. Because what does that do? Well, I didn't. Yeah, it would just that would make it because as a stampede, it's just like a straight line charge, and it sort of operates as the head of this horse sort of gain like the neck sort of extending into a ghostly tail, and then the mouth opening much wider than a horse's should open as she basically tries to get a chomp with a full body charge.
Yeah, go for it if you would like to roll your attack on that.
Okay, so power is 2, and then the rank is, so that's 3d6. My power is 2, and the signature attack is another 1. And the quality is another one. So is that 46 or?
Does the senior attack add to? I think it might do actually. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
So
For the
actually,
range dice.
Canal, you might have an extra dice to roll because I totally forgot about that.
That's so fun.
Look, we're all learning. We're all getting to grips with this. So
I love rolling more dice though, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Dice
So Canal, you actually have one more dice to roll, so just see if you get an extra point of damage off or not.
I did. That's a 6.
Yep, so that's 1 extra damage, so he's actually taken 9 damage so far then. Okay,
Right.
I see 3 successes there. Well, you automatically win because this person only has 2 dodge, so...
Yeah.
Okay, that is 2 failures, so that is plus 3 onto your damage here.
Yes.
So, what is your damage?
It is 4.
So plus the 3 takes that to 7.
7.
So we're 7 plus 9, so it's taken that much. 16 damage so far. Good. It's all coming together. It's in my brain hole. All right, then we will mosey on down to Thomas. Thomas.
See, I think the first thing Thomas does, or rather, Rabbit Killer in Thomas's body, takes off whatever is tying up his hair. So his hair is kind of flowing. It's behind him. As much flowing as it can in a cave. It's an anime. It's flowing. I think what he wants to do is he's standing up straight. He basically flexes and stretches his arms and then digs in his feet and takes off. And I want him to try to grapple this guy. I want him to try to put him into a hold.
Okay. Let's look. Because, I mean, once again, this game is not very intricate and complex. It's not. So, I mean, is you're actually trying to do this? I would say you're probably actively trying to inflict a condition, which I'm cool with. The rules don't really specify you can do this, but I think, why not? I think that's cool. So I would say you're probably trying to immobilize him with this.
Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment of kind of what's going on. And I want him to try to use these smoke clones to kind of weave between, kind of playing Find the Lady, except the lady is a smackdown.
Okay. So since you are trying to inflict a condition here, would you be okay with having a setback put on this attack roll then?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So your success will be on a 4 then, if you would like to roll your attack with whatever it is you would like to justify rolling.
Okay. I think I could argue for sharp senses being like, oh, you can spot him real easy because he's in a cave and he's got the sharp senses, but I'm not going to. I think that would be kind of abusing my ability. But I will say this would be what? It doesn't matter. I have 3 dice and everything, but
perfectly balanced.
Yeah, Rabbit Killer is not very defined right now.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. So
yeah.
So obviously you're doing that. This isn't using your signature, so it's just the flat 3.
Yeah, I rolled 2 4s and a 1.
That is 2 successes then, even with the setback. And this fella only rolled 1 success. So you have succeeded, and you get to add 1 to your damage, and you are immobilizing him currently. So
yeah, I'm trying to hold him in place and saying, I'm gonna say, Frederick, if you're in there, hold strong.
So when you say grapple here, are you like grappling from the front? Like a wrestling grapple? Are you gonna
I am
full
going
Nelson,
from behind, under the arms, and behind the neck.
Yeah, so
trying to make sure, kind of the full Nelson, trying to shove like one leg between to kind of force the legs open and off balance, but
how much damage are you dealing?
My damage is a flat 6.
Okay, and then we add 1 because you have 1 success, so we have 779 so far. So we are at 23. Yes, that's how math works. 23 damage, and nice. I can do math on the fly. All right.
Yeah, that's good.
What I'm actually justifying now is because obviously the game doesn't come with how to balance encounters because So I had some ideas for balance, and my preliminary notes seem to be working so far. Like, yeah, this feels about right for what I wanted this encounter to feel like. So, yeah, cool.
Awesome.
All right. So we are now at Frederick's turn, who is currently being grappled. Can't see particularly well, is disoriented. As whilst being grappled, you see the grip on this spiritual pickaxe, as it were, slightly loosening as this prospector is panting and pardon?
No, I'm just him going like, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he begins talking. Always trying to stop Rickety Joe. Rickety Joe's gonna get his stuff. Gonna get his gold. You can't stop Rickety Joe's burning desires. And with that, even whilst being grappled, Rickety Joe, that is the name I came up with.
I love it.
Rickety is his nickname. Is going to like collapse his body forward, like basically falling to the ground. Not fully, but like bending at the hip, and even with his hands suspended, like swinging onto the ground with such force, his pickaxe sets ablaze and swings into the ground. Now, he is making use of his signature attack here, which has a wonderful quality of multi-hit, or multi-target, whichever it is. So, can I have all 4 of you please roll a dodge on this one?
Sure.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
Come on, guys.
Oh, 4, 5, and a 6. I will take it.
Okay, so I'm...
So I allowed to argue that having a smoky body makes it harder to get hit here.
That is not how it works. I mean,
I have a fiery body. Can I get an extra dodge because I'm making a fire?
Right? You're like literally melting it.
So I'll have to quickly double check how the whole elements thing comes into play, because obviously this is a fire-based attack, or fire-based that might come into play. But right here, so I see...
I think it would have to be like nature for me to like care.
Yeah. So Greg rolled 1 success. Sable rolled 3 successes. Kamal rolled 1 success, and you also rolled 3 successes, Thomas?
Yeah, I rolled a 4, 5, and 6. I believe that's 3 successes.
That is. I need to double check, because he also rolled 3 successes. So I'm just double checking how it works on a tie. I mean, most of the time I assume ties favor the players, just because it feels like it's that kind of game, but it might be ties favor the attacker. I'm not 100%, so I'm just double checking. Or at least once. Yeah. Okay, that doesn't specify. So I'll just have to go into basic rules because it would come under opposed tests. Character rolls most successes. Victor character gets equal number of successes. The GM can either declare a tie or immediately call for another roll. Okay. This isn't how a game is supposed to be played, but because I don't, I'm trying to keep aware of time and whatnot here, so I'm not gonna roll again and then we keep checking and going high and checking. So what I'm gonna say is, you will, for those of you who rolled 3 successes, you will just take a vastly reduced damage here. So you're only going to take half the damage. This isn't an actual in-game rule. This is me making something up on the spot, just to deal with multiple people tying up on the same thing. So, Kamal with 1 success and Greg with 1 success, you are both going to take. I have 8 damage here.
Oof.
So how does that look for the both of you?
I
mean, it's a hit.
3 out of 11 right now.
I mean, it is a big hit, but if it's any consolation, Rickety Joe is looking very hard done to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like I got like half health. I'm good.
Okay, and then for the half damage for the 2 who tied on the successes there, so 4 damage for Sable and Thomas.
4 damage? All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me just quickly double check the. Because I mentioned it before and then I forgot about it. Because I don't think. Okay, defending. Yeah, if it's if a matchup matters, it can give either setback or boost. So, for example.
Right, like it would have. I might have had a boost if it was nature based. It's fire based. Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, if this was nature, you could have justified a boost, or if it was water, you could have justified a setback. Although I don't know if you'd want to justify a setback.
Right.
But yeah, so that's fine. That doesn't really come into play here. Cool. Just look.
Right.
It's not Pokemon rules. The same type is not as effective. It's all right. Cool. Greg.
Yes.
How would you like to follow this up?
Olin is going to kind of flit about and kind of whip its wingtails at it for an agility attack, or at Rickety Joe for an agility-based attack.
Yeah.
He's kind of like held, goes whap, whap, whap.
Okay, so if you could roll that for me. Also, something I totally spaced on this, so I'm trying to remember lots of different things all at the same time. So Honey, do you know how many 6s you have rolled so far in combat?
In combat,
including initiative.
Okay, including initiative. I would say about 3 or so.
Okay, 3. I'm just trying to keep track of it because obviously we have the critical gauge, which I totally spaced on, and I should have had a separate thing for. So going from initiative, which was up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 3 from that, because the critical is a party-wide thing. So we are currently at 11 on the critical gauge, which I think it caps out at 10. I'm just double-checking, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and I wasn't as prepared as I would like to be. So player roll 6, add 1 point to critical gauge, whether it was successful or not. Yeah. When it is at its points limit, and the point limit, from what I can recall, is 2 times the number of people in the group, including the GM. So our point limit is 10. So we are at point limit here. So critical moves are on the table if people would wish to use them. Well, use it once. So, Greg, is that your attack there with the 2 6s?
Yes.
Okay. You succeed. 2
Huzzah.
successes.
So, sorry, his dodges, he fail?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry.
He failed both
Not
of them,
paying
so
attention.
you've got
All right.
+2 on the success.
I was not thinking. All right. So that is a total of 8 damage.
Yeah, and he was on 23, so he is now up to 31 damage. Rickety Joe is looking really beat up. The spiritual energy is starting to flicker and waver. The visage of Rickety Joe is not able to maintain itself particularly well. As we come back round to Canal.
That pipe dream has lived its course. I think Kunal is gonna try to take advantage and try to like keep positioning himself so that he's always like at Rickety Joe's back and blowing smoke darts into Rickety Joe's back, trying to into Freddy's back to try and like wear down the connection. Because this is probably Kunal's first like ever fight, so he's just trying to figure out what works by trial and error. So I'm thinking smoke dart, like hurling smoke darts at. Yeah, I think Kunal's using the basics of a fight and just going like, all right, well, it's better to hit someone when they're off guard, so let me hit this possessed person while they're off guard.
Okay, yeah. Go for it. Roll an attack if you would like.
I'm going to. I would say this is a. Oh wait, I just realized are we in fledgling or basic?
Basic currently.
Okay, just make sure. I'm gonna call this one an agility. I think being very agile with it. Okay, that's 2 successes and a 1.
Yeah, 2 successes. He only got 1 success on the dodge right there. He's not very good at dodging, is Rickety Joe.
Rickety Joe, be busy prospecting.
It's all them rickets.
All them
I guess, I don't know. Make it hard to dodge, carrying all them rickets.
Too many rickets, not enough rackets.
So, how much damage is that?
That's going to be 6.
Yep, so 6 more damage, just these smoke darts just... Now, are they, like, being thrown from you, or are you making them, like, materialize and just jam in?
I think, is spray painting smoke and sending them out. Like, just basically pointing the spray paint can like a gun and shooting smoke darts.
No, I think that's really cool. Yeah, Rickety Joe is riddled with smoke darts and really struggling to maintain anything. And Thomas, you're holding him. You realize like he's barely holding on at this point. Sable.
I think it would be most fun / appropriate if I were to do a critical combo using, I guess, the 3 gauge that I have right now to kind of piggyback off of the, I don't know if you can hear anything from outside, sorry. To piggyback off of the smoke darts, essentially, and marry the horse already being like chomping / charging at the moment, because in my mind it would make sense if like the darts went like through her as she was trying to like marry the horse, was trying to be like sneaky, so it would make sense if she like chomped at his back and then like the darts came and like did a little like possible purpley nightmarish burning effect, and then it only emboldens her as like Sable's eyes look a little more fearful but also have more resolve. Mary starts to like rear back and then headbutt again, like working off of working off of the previous attacks so far.
Okay. And so, are you wanting to initiate the critical combo attack? Because as a
Yes.
collective, we have easily gone past the capstone of 10. Because it's
Yes.
every single person who has rolled a 6 adds a little point to this pile, and we've easily gone past 10. And so,
Awesome.
We're gonna mess it up.
so by initiating a critical combo attack, every person here gets to have a free use of their signature attack in unison for dramatic anime finishing nonsense. So you use your action, you pick the target, then each PC Animon in the combat encounter makes an attack roll against the same target using their signature attack. It doesn't count as a use. So they get 1 dodge. Target's dodge roll must be made with 1 setback, ignoring all the sorts of setbacks. Oh, each successful attack rolls for damage. Okay, so if each of you can just roll for your signature attack, please.
Okay.
I'm going to use heart because the goal is to separate and save Frederick
Yeah.
from
Yes.
the person. Yes, so many guys. It's a little time. Ag your rank.
I think Kunal's going to use brains because his aim is to like draw, like basically make it hard for Smoky Pete to defend against everyone else's.
I think at this point, would it make sense for me to really use my signature attack? A, I'm not really in a position to, and B, it just kind of wouldn't really work that way. But I will say that I think he's going to try to be like, knock it off, and suplex this person to really hold them in place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did
since
that.
he's already got the hold.
Yeah, like, you know, with this being a critical thing, you don't have to use your signature attack as writ. You can just be like, okay, it's part of this. So, big suplex.
Yes.
I mean, thankfully, I just did all 4 of Rickety Joe's rolls here. I can almost guarantee you're all going to succeed because he rolled 0 successes, 0 successes, 1 success, 1 success.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, this prospector's getting eaten.
Yeah, so so where am I going from? So Greg, you're 5d6. That was your critical, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 2 successes, 4 successes. Sable had 0 successes.
Yeah.
Sable.
Unless we want
Powering up everyone else.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say that this is being boosted for everyone, just because I like that. This is being boosted because of the grapple and because of a suplex. So Sable gets 1 success, meaning she wins. And
Yes.
how many successes does Thomas get on his?
3.
3 successes. Okay. I mean, you don't need to tell me the damage. You have won here.
Yeah.
So don't worry about damage. Can we collectively describe this effect? I mean, who wants their attack to go through first to set up, and we'll just go in. We'll just point at someone and go, okay, and then what do you do? And then what do you do? To create this cool, epic, we all tag team together, amazing anime finishing nonsense.
I think the suplex should go first if this is going to be like a thing where everyone hits.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we start off massive suplex.
Yeah.
So as you grip tightly around Frederick Johnstonson's body, you suplex back. The visage of Rickety Joe is swung through the air, going has smashed into the ground. Whose attack follows?
I think Kunal's makes sense here because as like maybe like mid lift, Kunal arcs like smoke that enters Rickety Jones's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So like basically while Thomas's body is obscured by Freddie J's, the smoke enters Freddie J's eyes, and now it's like, oh, has that has more of a as you can't see, and then bam, the suplex.
Okay, yeah. Whose attack lands next?
Oh wait, Sony, is that cool with you? Or?
Yeah, go for it.
As he hits, Alon will charge and kind of add to the downward slam with their body, and an explosion of like a claymore down from Alon as they flap downward. It explodes down. Crater him even more into the ground.
And then finally, Sable, how are you adding to this amazing finishing move?
I think narratively with that seagull success, it might be best if that slam finishes before Mary actually gets there. But then like it's more like she's trying to do like her usual charge. Like that was her signature move. So she's like rears back, charges, oh shit, they're on the ground. And then she like pivots back instead, like looking the Fredrickson Prospector combination in the face, and instead just lets out like a deafeningly eerie scream that because I rolled with power, but I'm like it also makes sense this way to just be like a scream where the ghostliness of her form becomes much more apparent, and then like tries to phase through this thing, assuming that its power is weakening. That she just like she has that like scream, and then that imposing moment after he's on the ground, and then retreats as we see the aftermath.
Yeah, I dig that. So as all of this happens, suplex, smoke, fireball, Death Winnie, just all of it. There is this quite large dust cloud, and just spiritual energy is through the goddamn roof. And as the battle begins to fade, Frederick Johnstonson is laying on the ground. You know what? We'll go anime. Like head buried into the ground slightly, body above, collapsing in the Yamcha death pose. Because why not? That needs to be referenced. He's not dead. He's fine.
Okay.
As the spirit of Rickety Joe is separated, and what was once seemingly incredibly malicious can now be revealed in full spirit, no possession, a very old, quite malnourished looking man, skin clinging to the bones, like long wiry facial hair, glass eye, as he stands there. Well, not stand, he's floating. He's got, you can see his upper body, and then the lower part is like generic ghost tail whisper thing, as he appears to be genuinely apologetic. Whatever maliciousness was there seems to have eased off, as Rickety Joe is looking at you four young shaman who have defeated him, and he kind of like has like a smile, but there's a sadness in his eyes, and he begins to speak. Goes, I'm sorry, don't know what came over me. It was just this need. I thought I had my chance when these kids came into my mind. I was gonna give them my stuff, but I didn't get the stuff. The stuff's gone. I'll never get the stuff. I'm sorry.
Greg's gonna walk up and be like, Ricky Joe, I don't know what your stuff is, but did you have friends?
Yeah. I had friends. They tried to drag me out, but I said no. This will be my last day. But now I was determined to follow that vein. I was gonna get it. I was gonna get that big payload and I was gonna retire. But mine started to collapse and they were shouting out to me, Rickety Joe, get on out. It's gonna collapse and you'll die in there sad and alone. And I said, no, Rickety Joe ain't gonna die. Rickety Joe gonna get his gold. Rickety Joe was no match for them boulders.
No one is. So my grandma used to say that the greatest treasure are those around us, and it kind of seems like maybe your friends trying to help you was the treasure you had all along. Maybe. So maybe you could go and get that treasure again in the afterlife with your friends.
Do you want to roll me a test here?
Sure.
It feels like you're trying to like convey something. Like you're trying to make an emotional connection here.
Yes, I'm trying to convince him to like not be a spirit trapped in this world.
Okay. Yeah, so anymore. Like go through a book to probably help out and be like, oh, it's a metaphor. And I think that means stories, symbolism. You should. Well, people that generally wish for material things until they die are not satisfied even at death. And then she looks very serious at that. So maybe consider what is really important to you.
So Greg, what would you like to roll here? And I will give you a boost on this with the assistance of Sable here.
Awesome. I was gonna try to do spirit.
Go for it.
Yeah. Yes, this button. I rolled decently.
With a boost, that is 3 successes.
Cool.
So as you say that, Rickety Joe, the tears are welling in his eyes, and he does start to sob as you, from behind you, from the entrance of the mine shaft, another ghostly figure steps forward and looks and goes, well, I'll be Rickety Joe. I waited for you. I called you, and I tried to dig you out every day until I died. Then Rickety Joe looks and goes, Buddy Bobby! My bestest friend! And they have a very touching reunion of Rickety Joe and Buddy Bobby. These are brilliant names. I put lots of thought into these.
I love them. They're great.
As Buddy Bobby holds out a hand and Rickety Joe matches that, and they grasp each other in a very classical Roman handshake, grabbing each other's forearms. And there is a moment, and there is a sensation of lightness and relief as these two long labored spirits feel as if they're about to ascend and pass on. Canal, Thomas, do either of you have an interaction you would like to join in here?
I think Thomas is depossessing, so his spirit is kind of like getting out there, and he just kind of like crosses his arms and sits and doesn't quite look at this and goes, I'm like, not really good at talking about this feeling sort of thing, but seems like you had a place to belong. I don't understand why you would give that up for something as like gold. And just kind of like through the implications of body language and how he looks back at this stuff of kind of like hints or nudges maybe you should go to Buddy Bobby. Maybe you should go forward to hang out with this guy.
Yeah. I like that. I like the additional and like it's good. It's good vibes.
Yeah.
Kunal, do you have thoughts, feelings, or encouragement, or are you gonna?
I think Kunal takes advantage of seeing Freddie J in the dirt and makes a TikTok like, "Yo, Tom's totally fucked him up."
That's amazing.
I mean, Freddie J is currently shirtless. You know, Rickety Joe had to take his shirt off to mine. You know, it's the rules. So there is a shirtless Freddie Johnstonson face down in the dirt, looking very beat up.
Kunal's just like, "Hey, look at who got fucked up."
What's fuck?
Oh.
My mom told me to not use. Well, I mean, not to use them, but she's not here, obviously. What does it mean?
Don't worry about it. Don't use the word.
Okay. But then what happened to it? Is your video? She like if she was in the frame of the camera, like her little nose would be like just ruining the shot right now. What like is your TikTok over?
No, but
No.
I'll just film it again. You know what? Just takes a picture and then is like, listen, Mr. Prospector guy. Yeah, it's time for you to move on.
Rickety Joe's time has passed. Rickety Joe's going to ascend with Buddy Bobby. Damn right you are, Rickety Joe. We're going to go to the other side of man the greatest prospector's dream. Non-denominational afterlife. Because we're not specifying what religion is the correct religion. Assuming all religions are theoretically correct. And they begin to ascend. There's a wonderful light, a warm feeling, and non-specific sensations and feelings of whatever one would recognize as an afterlife. We've gone slightly over what would be the normal start time, but we started slightly late because of setup and stuff. So I'm gonna bring us pretty much to a close here with one final little moment here. With the ascension of Rickety Joe and Buddy Bobby, the feeling has calmed down. The mind shaft. There's the soft sound of footsteps approaching, and a slow but sincere clap of a single person. So it doesn't come off as like a sarcastic clap. Stepping out from the shadows, a mysterious figure addresses the four of you and goes, "All right, looks like we got a new group of shaman kids. Good job."
What?
And that is where we'll end the session.
Nice.
Yeah! There we go.
All right.
We messed them up.
I had a lot of fun. Obviously, as we play more, we will get more at grits and we won't have to go, wait, how does this mechanic work? How does that? But this is fun. We had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed this very much. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the interactions. I have a suspicion this is going to be a really fun thing. I'm looking forward to having more sessions of this, which will be streamed every other week. So not next week, but the week after. And we'll be doing that. Not for like an excessively long time. This isn't going to go on for like a year or whatever, but it's going to go on for a couple of weeks, couple sessions, you know, somewhere between like 6 and 10, maybe, give or take. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. So with that, thank you to my lovely, wonderful players who will all remind you of their names and where you can find them in a moment. I am Bardic. You can find me on the internet, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, all as the Bardic Knock. I'm very much excited for this because this is a really fun sensation and a really good energy I'm feeling here. So with that, JT, would you like to sign yourself off?
FJT. I will eventually organize my socials, but Brownest Nerd on Twitter, probably the easiest one for now. Yeah. Pleasure to play Kunal Singh, resident TikToker and delinquent. With that, I'll pass it over to. Oh, my arm is just kidding.
Your arm's invisible.
Mary's taking a little chomp at it.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, nah. The prospector took my arm in the non-denominational ascension to the afterlife.
That's a problem. You should take care of that.
I've been disarmed.
Anyways, yeah, I'm Jamie. My Twitter handle is jkelsey6892. This has been awesome. Thanks, Bard. Greg, the kind, gentle-hearted farm boy, is ready to learn more things.
All right. Anything else? Sorry, before I cut you off. Yep. Sahoni.
Sure. Hi, I've been Sahoni. You can find me on Twitter at Sahoni_stuff. That's SAHONI_stuff, where you can find me do not only this, but like podcasts like Barking Points Memo, which is a semi-regular current events comedy podcast, or you can watch me on other tabletop-related things. But you can also, very importantly, find my own games, because I am a game designer. You can find me also do writings for articles or in various anthologies. But if you want to find my games, you can go to bramblewolfgames.itch.io. That's BRAMBLEWOLFGAMES.itch.io, where my bestseller is Exceptionals, which is a game inspired by X-Men about and for the spaces marginalized folks make for them ourselves. You can kind of explore what the mutant metaphor means for you and punch back in this narrative tag-driven game that makes room for both the complicated and real joy. It's good stuff. People like it. You should play it.
Also, it's X-Men related, so it's clearly great.
Oh, yeah, Exceptionals is fantastic. If you haven't got it, get it.
If you want to know my X-Men credentials, my fave team is New Mutants, and my favorite mutants in particular are Danny, Cannonball, Chamber, and Richter. And I have my own collection of mutants that I think are underutilized and I would like to do things with. Tag deserves better.
Tag does deserve better. That guy was cool, and then he was in a bus. If you know anything about X-Men, you know what that means.
So, I have to ask, because this is mandatory for every queer person, who is your D-list X-Men who you love for no defined reason aside from I just do?
I like
That's
Trance
Tag.
so much.
Tag, I just said Tag.
I like Trance a lot. Trance is sweet. I mean, she's from my hometown, and then I'm like, also,
Nice.
she actually projects? Like, put her on a magic team. Come on, people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit, mine is really weird, and I know it's weird because this is beyond D-list. I love Beak.
Beak is great. I would say Beak is at least a C, though.
He was on the X-Files.
Yeah.
I don't watch enough
Yeah.
X-Men to contribute well enough. My favorite's Rogue, but that doesn't feel like a D-list.
She's awesome.
It's not. That's A-list.
Yeah, she's no Storm, but she certainly. Well, yeah, Storm's also an A-list.
I'm at the same
Storm
Yeah.
is very A-list.
Yeah.
To a D-list,
A storm is just like, I am S tier!
X for Storm.
Lightning.
The S tier is made exclusively for Storm.
Yeah, it is.
She's the ruler of the solar system right now. Like, yes.
She's a little underrated in the
also-
fan base, but yeah.
I'm just
But,
looking at her and be like, bestie goddess, I love you.
We stand a goddess.
Yeah.
Hey,
But what was I gonna say? To be fair, now that I'm in the same boat as you, the only like obscure X-Men that I truly know is like that one kid who can explode once and then dies. So he
Oh wow, no, I
love
understand.
Exploding Boy.
That was racism. That was actual. The one who couldn't die, who couldn't get hurt, dying. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
Darwin. No,
Darwin.
he's talking about
I'm mixing
Explodey
them.
Boy. He's
Explodey
Explodey
Boy?
Boy.
That does sound
Explodes.
sick. I'm sorry.
I love
Yeah.
Explodey Boy.
True,
It's
I
so
don't know
great.
anything about X-Men. Yeah.
Exploding Boy is just like, oh, I could explode, and that's my power.
No.
You can do it. What?
No, F tier soft serve is it.
Mhm.
Soft serve was an artist character insert that was then referenced by another writer in another book. So she's official now. And her power is that, this is a little inappropriate, her anus is a portal to an ice cream dimension.
Yeah,
If she
that's
can-
not.
why not?
Not all powers are created equally, and what's great about exceptionals is you can play those sort of mutants.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and circle us back round vaguely. Like, so exceptional.
Excellent
Do you
segue.
want to play
Excellent
soft
segue.
serve?
You can make a storm, or you can make someone with an ice cream dimension in their asshole. I'm not going to tell you what you can make. That's up to you and your table.
Okay.
You should totally.
I don't know what to
make
say
a- make a-
anymore.
Yeah.
So Honi, is there anything else?
Good night, chat.
I'm currently working on something that is at the moment called Protect the Sacred. It is a pulp adventure sort of thing in the style of Indiana Jones or Hellboy, where people with folklore-based superpowers basically protect, preserve, and reclaim magic, monsters, and mystical artifacts as living culture on behalf and for the peoples that they belong to.
So it's the exact opposite of the British Museum. Got it.
Yeah, I might be casting the British Museum as evil wizards.
I mean, that's just accurate.
Yeah, it is, but
Don't give them magic powers. They don't deserve it. They're British.
Fact, just make them
yeah, but it's more
horribly,
fun to punch that way.
True.
make them horribly incompetent, but somehow alive because of financial power.
I mean, you could have just stopped at horribly incompetent and I'd say, yeah, they're British. I'm allowed to make these jokes. I live here.
Mhm.
Also,
I mean-
they're true.
Also, they're not jokes.
Yeah.
God.
Also, for real.
Oh, very real. Okay, so if that is everything, Nada, you have to somehow finish that. Finish us off.
Yeah,
please.
great. I realized I could plug stuff that I will be making in the future anyway. So, yeah, my name is Nada. I played Sable, person who I accidentally said fuck in the beginning, but definitely does not swear. She, her. I'm they, them though. That's she can have what she wants. Which is she, her pronouns. And I'm trans_father on Twitter. Currently making a system agnostic setting a la Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, except you are exploring basically the brain of either a real person and or a galaxy-sized corpse of a god where you explore like the brainscape and the body of a somewhat scientifically accurate fantasy cosmic horror sci-fi version of like what would happen if you shrunk into somebody and it explored their mind. So that'll obviously take a while. So
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
That sounds terrifying.
yeah, it's
That's
so
great,
it's so
terrifying.
scary, right? You just if you follow me on Twitter, that'll be the only thing I post about. So you'll know when it's there. And yeah, this is very fun. I don't have anything else on the pipeline at the moment, so
All right.
thank you so much.
With that, thank you everyone. Thank you players. Thank you viewers. Thank you people in chat. Thank you Animal Story for existing. And until next time, stay safe and happy adventures.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.